story about transitioning from one kid to the next. Which transition was the hardest? So back in 2011, Landon and I had been married for 3 years by that point, and we brought Emma into the world. And it was wonderful because we were first-time parents and there was mom and dad against one child. And so it went really smooth having Emma, although it did come with its challenges. We were both in school. I remember coming home from the hospital the day we brought her home. Landon got us all settled on the couch, this couch actually, and then Landon left. He went to school or work, or he had something he had to go do, and I thought, okay, Emma, it's just me and you. But then I was also in nursing school, so a week later I took my brand newborn to my mom's house to be watched, and I went to nursing school. I did the whole pumping thing for like 6 months, and then after the holidays, after my maternity leave was done and I had graduated, I remember taking my nursing boards, and my mom and dad watched Emma when I took my nursing boards, and then I worked as a nurse, and I still took her to both grandparents to be watched. And so it was just different. She was our only child. The excitement of being a new mom was amazing. And so I wouldn't say it was a hard transition, but just because of me going to school and working, it was just different. 2 years later, there came a lot of changes at one time. Emma, I put her in a big girl bed. I took the bottle away. She became a big brother to Cooper, and we moved 1,500 miles from Utah all the way up to Missouri. And so there was a lot of changes all of a sudden. I had Cooper, and I had him early, thank goodness, because the day he was born, we were scheduled to move to Missouri. So I had him a little bit early. He came early, and he is my early morning child. So I think it was just in him to get out into this world. On paper though, it sounds so difficult. We moved with a 1-week-old baby. Like, I flew on an airplane to Missouri and met Landon and my dad there with the moving trucks, and having all of those transitions for Emma at the same time, and not having family around. It sounds so difficult, and Cooper really cleaned to me. He loved to be held. I remember potty training Emma, her sitting on the toilet, and I'm nursing Cooper, walking around the house, trying to potty train. But it was such a wonderful time. I loved my time in Missouri, and as difficult as all of that sounds, it really was a wonderful time because I made great friends out there. We got out and we saw the city of Kansas City. We did lots of things together. We did lots of things with family or with friends. And Landon was starting medical school. He was gone a lot. So I was pretty much by myself with 2 very little kids, but I remember it being such a wonderful time of my life. Fast forward 2 years later when we had Porter. So this was a different time of life as well, because Landon, if you know our history with the medical school situation, he was repeating his 2nd year. We were kind of in limbo time when we had him. It was spring, summertime, so we were able to spend time together, and then Landon repeated or started to repeat the 2nd year of medical school that fall. But I do remember laying on the couch holding Porter close to me, thinking in my head, things feel good, life is great, like I feel like I'm able to really like enjoy this newborn baby of mine. I do remember thinking that. Several months later, things happened, and I remember sitting on the same couch with Landon, and we were talking about life, and the night we were talking, it was Landon was done with medical school. Well, shoot, you're done with medical school, but you're gonna finish up your master's there in business, and what are we gonna do? So we had decided at that moment that I was going to go back to work. So Porter was born in the spring. That next January, I started working as a nurse at the hospital there in Kansas City. And that was different because I had to teach Porter, we had to teach Porter how to drink out of a bottle, and that was kind of challenging. And at that exact same time, we started vlogging. If you guys remember those cringe-worthy, I still feel like I'm cringe-worthy, but very amateur vloggers 6 years ago is when we started. So I remember, I think we were doing 3, maybe 5 times a week vlogs. I was working weekends. We had a 7-month-old baby. Landon was working as a manager at a house. He was doing housekeeping. I think he was a manager at a hospital doing that. And he was super busy at the same time doing other stuff. And so I almost want to say that was probably our hardest time. That was back in 2016 at that point, and when I hear 2016, I think, oh, don't remind me of 2016. And I think that was the hardest. But as far as going from 2 to 3 kids, it didn't feel like that difficult. Like I just went with it. It just flowed. Fast forward 3 years later, when I had Lucy, I found out I was pregnant, and at that same time we moved to Utah. So 9 months later, I had Lucy, and we had family around finally, which was awesome to have our family around when having a newborn. And I wasn't working. Landon is still going to school at this point. But the hard thing about having this third one was it was summertime. All the kids were home from school. No one was in school during the day. And so I had a newborn. We were trying to entertain these little kids, going to the swimming pool, going to the beach, doing family reunions, and it was all fun, but it was very exhausting. She was our 4th baby. I was tired, but because we were in Utah at that point, we had family around. We had grandparents around, aunts and uncles, and so we had help that we needed. But I think going to 4 kids in the summertime was difficult just because I was tired and exhausted. Fast forward 3 more years to 2021 when we have our 5th and final baby, Amelia, and things have been awesome. The kids started school in August. I had her in September, and the transition of having most of the kids in school and then me having her, I feel like was just like really nice because, I mean, listen, the house has been quiet. I've been able to snuggle her, and I feel like family helped me when I had Lucy. But this time has been a little bit different. I feel like I've really had a lot of help. Like my mom has taken Lucy several times, and having that help has really helped me to just enjoy my newborn, my very last newborn. I've been able to sleep in the mornings. I've been able to have her sleep on my chest. We've slept in the rocking chair. We've laid in bed together. And I don't feel like I've been able to do that with any of the other babies. Like I've really just been in, what's the word, enthralled? I don't know if that's the right word. I've really just like been in the moment with Amelia as a newborn, and I've just totally vegged. I've relaxed in the house, and I feel like this has been the best baby to do that with. I haven't been working, I'm not going to school, and Lucy is even a little bit old enough that she's been able to get her own food out of the pantry. Like she'll just kind of go play and do her thing while I lay in bed with the baby, and it has been my favorite because I know it won't last. We have more space. We've moved into this house. This is our first home that we've ever owned, and so it's the first home that I've been able to bring a baby home to, which has been a lot of fun. Also with this 5th baby, Landon's scheduling has been more flexible. He is in a PhD program that's busy. He's running research participants. However, it is flexible. He's been able to come home here and there if I need him to, and that has been really helpful and really nice. He's just down the road a few minutes, and so I feel like even of all of the different babies that we've had, this has been the most flexible that Landon has been in, even though he is busy, he's in classes, but it has just worked out really well. And I cannot believe I am done having kids. Like, I'm done. I've had 5 kids. And now that I go through the history of each kid, I don't know which one was the hardest, like as far as the transition goes. Part of me feels guilty / not guilty. When it comes dinner time, Landon gets home from a big day at school. Amelia is very clingy. She's a lot like Cooper was. She likes to be held a lot, and so I'm trying to hold her, I'm trying to nurse her. She doesn't like to be put down. She won't take a bottle, she won't take a binky, but it's dinner time, so I'm like, okay, sorry Landon, you've been gone at school all day, come home and you can make dinner, and you can do dishes, and you can get 4 kids ready for bed and brush all their teeth and put them to bed, and I'm just holding the baby, taking care of her. There have been many nights that it has looked like that, and he is an awesome dad, an awesome husband, and he just goes with it, and he does anything to help me feel the most comfortable as well. Landon has been my rock through all of this. He has been solid. He's the best husband, the best dad, and I wouldn't want to have 5 kids with anyone else other than him. And he's really great about making sure that I'm being taken care of, that I'm healing up okay, and that that I'm getting enough sleep. He gives me my multivitamins even after pregnancy. He makes sure that I am taken care of, and I love that about him, and I appreciate him and all that he does for our family. I'm twiddling my fingers over here and my words, trying to decide how to end this video. Even though we've been vlogging for 6 years, I still get awkward. I still had to repeat myself a lot. I still cut out a lot of footage. Basically, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you learned a little bit about us. Go ahead to my Instagram account and comment and tell me what the transition for you was the hardest when having kids. I don't even have an answer for you. I mean, I talked about all of the different transitions, but there were so many different things happening at different times and pros and cons, so I don't have an answer for you. I've just thoroughly enjoyed having 5 babies. Like, I love each of them, and I can't believe I'm done having kids. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.